Hello everyone, welcome back to the Knockouts Music Channel. Today I'm checking out a new song from the legendary band Korn. Korn was one of those bands. Korn was one of those bands I couldn't get into back at first, and except for maybe the song "Freak on Leash." Then once I hit high school, I had a friend that was really into Korn, and gave me some CDs to listen to, and then I actually finally started really enjoying Korn. And apparently, it was right before their popularity started to wane with the more hardcore crowd and become more popular with the mainstream, which is when they changed their sound a bit. But for me, when a band experiments with different sounds, I don't automatically write it off. I actually enjoyed their more mainstream stuff, and I also enjoyed the album they did where they mixed a bit of dubstep into it. But I have really grown to appreciate their first three albums the most. I know they've kind of gone back to more of their original sound after their dubstep album. I even have that album as well on CD. But they have released a new song. It looks like it's in collaboration with Diablo 4. And so let's get into it because I'm curious to see where they go in this. The song is called Reward the Scars. Excuse me. Hang on. Let's fix this here. All right. All right. Without further ado, let's get into it. It's so far sounding great. I do know that the original bass player is no longer with them. It hasn't been since COVID-19, and I've read about like the reasoning and all that stuff. But I did not read anything about the new bassist yet, and so I'm curious to see how Korn holds up with a different bass player, because I do feel like a lot of their sound was that original bass player. And let's give it. I can't even think of his name right now, which sucks because I actually really enjoyed his playing. I think my mix-up schedule, I'm not remembering names well at all right now, but let's get back into it. Sounding really good so far. He does look really out of place compared to the rest of the band. That's just aesthetic though, so doesn't affect the music. But so far, I am enjoying the song itself. I don't know how much different it would sound with. Is it Fieldy? I think Fieldy was his name, right? Yeah, Fieldy was the bass player. I wonder how much different it would sound with Fieldy on bass, though. Anyway, let's get back into the song. story video. I will say one thing I do notice right off the bat. I noticed it right off the bat, but I didn't want to say anything until I heard more of the song. Is the bass doesn't sound as much of a percussive instrument the way Fieldy played it as it used to, and being played a bit more normal, like a normal bass. And we're still getting the good, like still getting good like thumb strike sounds, but like it just doesn't sound quite as much like a percussive instrument, which Fieldy was known for playing it in that way. Now, as far as the music goes, definitely a song I would listen to on my own outside of reaction. It is sad, losing Feely on bass and getting a new bass player that doesn't quite play bass in the same style, but I do feel like they still did a good job, and even though it feels a bit less like Korn, I'm still really enjoying the music, and I'm very curious to see what else comes out of this, if we're going to get more singles along the way. Also, what is it with the collaborations with video games? Because I just reacted not that long ago to Electric Callboy and their collaboration with Brawl Stars. I'm not complaining. As a gamer myself, it's fun to see metal bands with video games kind of crossing over. But it's just something I noticed that we've done quite a bit of that recently. Jonathan Davis' singing, of course, still hits just as good. I feel like this new bass player, and they'll do the job. Just maybe in another song they'll actually be able to prove themselves a bit more. And there was definitely that in the second verse where you heard a lot of bass, but again, to me, it doesn't sound as percussive as the way Billy would play it. But I'm very familiar with the fact that I'm going to have to get over the fact they changed to a different member and it will affect their sound. And I should just enjoy what they put out this point on with its own merits and not keep comparing it to the previous members. And that's the thing that I notice a lot of people is like, whenever a band changes members, they get stuck on the fact that a different member is in the group, and they're like, well, they'll never compare to this because of this one individual, and so I'll never enjoy their music again. I can't stand by the fact that I won't enjoy their music again. If I can't enjoy the music with a new member in the band, and it ends up being not that big of a change, or maybe in some bands you don't even notice the change until you actually look into it. And I wonder why there are people that just like completely write off a band just because they have a different member. Now, that being said, it is a different story when it's the singer, because vocals make a huge difference, because that's something a person can't really change unless, of course, you do it through like auto-tuning and AI to change the performance of someone's vocals. But like with guitar tones and drumming and stuff like that, that is a lot easier to at least emulate or get close to. But in order to get a new singer that sounds exactly like your other singer, that is a much harder task. I don't even know where I was going with that. I just kind of went off the rails a little bit. But if you enjoyed this reaction, please leave a like down below. If you have any other bands or songs for me to check out, leave them in the comments down below. And if you want to talk about other musicians that have changed in a band and you feel like the band has never been the same since, or you feel like changing band members doesn't affect the sound, talk about that down below. I'm really curious to see people's input and what their opinions are on when stuff like that happens. Anyway, subscribe to see more content from me in the future and hit the bell to be notified when I upload next time. Have a good one. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.